Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Mindel Archives. We mentioned a few weeks ago that I want to share with you the Miyoim Liyoim that came out Tovshin Gimel, this Tovshin Dalet. 2 years, 1943 and 1944. And the first one, the Rabbi called it the calendar, and the second one was called encyclopedia. So a few years later, what we did, we printed this book from day to day, and I put 2 years and make this as a book. We took this, and instead of two separate, I made it a book, and we printed this, the English, and I also translate this in Hebrew, but the Iker is the English because that's what the Rebbe asked to do. So the Rebbe dictated to Rabbi Mindel that we should make Miyoim Liyoim, just like the Hayoim Yoim, but this is really before. And this is for children, it's made for children. I think adults can also use it. And the Rebbe put a saying, a pisgam, to every day, just the same as Hayoim Yoim. The same thing, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the same thing. And the Rebbe chose what to put in. Meaning like this. The difference between this and the regular Hayoim Yoim that we all know, the regular Hayoim Yoim, the Rebbe did not write. This was sayings of the previous Rebbe. And the Rebbe was Malaket, he gathered, and he put it into the date the Rebbe put it in. This one, the Rebbe himself chose what to say. So the regular Yom Yom mostly is Chassidish things. This is a lot of other things, Chassidishkeit and other Torah questions, other things for children. Also, Rabbi Greenglass Olav Sholem, this is written in the Igris, that in those days he used to write to the Rebbe, to our Rebbe, before the Rebbe was the Rebbe, letters, and the Rebbe didn't answer him. So he was wondering. So he asked the Rebbe, why didn't you answer me? So the Rebbe said, I am busy with the Miyoim Liyoim, more with this. The Rebbe was more concerned about this. So this is a very important book that we can all learn out. That why the Rebbe put certain things in certain dates. So I'm going to share with you why the Rebbe chose certain things. Okay. So let's take one. Now we're starting to read again Pirkei Avos. So let's say here this was Shabbos Chav of Nisan, and Perik. No, this is the beginning. Perik Aleph. So I'm going to try to see now when the Rebbe asked Rabbi Mindel to do this. Rabbi Mindel, there's notes on the side. Some things the Rebbe made. I see the Rebbe's handwriting. Some things comes from Rabbi Mindel. I can see which one comes. There's explanation. But here, only the Rebbe says, the Rebbe says, on this one, let me see, Shammai Omer. Shammai says, Asei teros chokva, Emir miyat v'asei harbe v'heveidan koskolodom lekavschus. Make your study of the Torah a regular habit. Promise little and do much. Receive all people cordially. And the Rebbe brings down from Avis Aleph to Svav. And then he says today's Omer, whatever. This is from Tovshin Gimel, 1943. Why the Rebbe chose this and not anything else? Probably is a reason, which I don't know the reason. So on the side, over here I have, notations from the Rebbe, Rabbi Mindel. So I'm going to tell you what it says here. It says here, make your Torah study. What are the priorities in life? The main priority of a Yid, of a Jew, study Torah. And Torah will make the values and a lifestyle at home and the outside world, and raise children in the proper way. When you make your Torah kva, make your Torah permanent. This is what, on the side, certain things that Rabbi put in with his own handwriting. That means that the shalom bayis will be good when the wife will see that the husband goes to a shir, kva is good. Then it says over here, this was on the side, breathing. Study regular, Torah is life. Just like breathing. A person breathes 24 hours a day. A person doesn't stop breathing. A person is not going to say, I am going to work now, I'm going to stop breathing, and after work I'm going to start breathing again. Or now I'm going for a walk, so I'm busy with walking, and then I'm going to breathe. It doesn't work that way. A person breathes all the time. The same thing also, excuse me, when a person works, everything for Torah. When a person eats, for Torah. At home, whatever a person does is asayta roska kva. That's what it seems here. And after 120 years, the heavenly court, one of the things that they ask a person is, did you set time for living Torah? Kihem chayenu v'oirach yameinu u'v'hem nega yomim v'laylo. This is more or less what in this, but this miyam yom says only the Pirkei Avos. That's all. But then there is a summation on the side, which the Rebbe didn't put in. Also, Ameir Meyat V'asei Harbe. Promise little and do what Asei Meyat. Yeah. Promise little and do much, the Rebbe writes. That means, he writes over here, speak soft, do great things. Speaking much brings, what does it bring to? Falseness. This is Rabbi Midal writes here. Lies, violence, frustration, disappointment, and Lashon Hara. A person speaks a lot. It brings Lashon Hara. And Lashon Hara harms three people. The one who speaks Lashon Hara, the one who listens to him, Lashon Hara, and the one that they speak about. So speak little and do a lot. This is for children. Action speaks louder than words. Then he says, when someone makes a pledge, or somebody promises somebody money or something, they should always give, very strange, a little more than he promised. If you promised they'll give him $18, for example, or anything, you should give him $18.20. Learn from Avram Avinu. When Avram, the Malachim, the angels came to Avram Avinu, he said he'll give him bread. The end is that he gave him bread, he gave him cream and milk, and also prepared a calf. But he only told him that. But he also have to give more. Rishayim, or people that are Rishayim, do the opposite. Like Ephraim, when Avram Avinu wanted the Moris HaMachpelah, the first Ephraim told him, I'll give you a present, and at the end you see the Torah that he charged him a lot of money. Then it says, they danes kol adam lekav zchus. Receive everybody lekav zchus, or mekabel es kol adam. He said, b'sever panim yafis. I don't know what he says there here. B'sever panim yafis. I mean, you can learn from the Rebbe and from the Rebbetzin how they always with a friendly fashion to Jews and even non-Jews. always good. Shabbos, always nice. The way they greeted the people. Even though, who said that? Shammai said that. We know the difference between Shammai and Hillel. He mentions here, Shammai was strict and Hillel was soft. Who says Mekabel es kol ha'odom, and who says Dal lekol ha'odom lekav schus for the good? Dafke Shammai said it. Even so you could see how great Shammai was. When you look at strict, doesn't mean strict. It means it's a different Indian. It says here besaver. So he writes over here. This is from my father-in-law. Next to the Rebbe's writing, he writes why besaver. Saver comes from the word svara, thought. That even though a person, a child, is negative thoughts towards his friend, he should always behave in a friendly fashion. That's why it says besaver pointing others. This is in the year 19 that I chose one day, Pirkei Avos. Now let's look in the other year, in 1944, Pirkei Avos. He says, Shimon HaTzadik, the Rabbi chose this. Shimon HaTzadik ha'yomer, al shloisha dvarim ha'olam oimed, al ha'torah v'al avodah al gemilas chasodim, obvious Aleph Beis. At night you say Aleph Yov. This is Rosh Chodesh year. So he says like this: Hu ha'yomer. Shimon HaTzadik says that the world stands on three pillars: on Torah and Avodah. Avodah means davening or karbonis, and gemilas chasodim, kindness. That means like this. That corresponds, he mentions here, a very interesting word. A person's body, there are three very important organs in a person's body: the mind, the heart, and the bottom, the kloyes, the koved, the kidneys, the liver. The world stands on three things: Torah, that's the mind; Avodah, davening, feeling, that's the heart; and good deeds. Then it comes down to the bottom, how you should use your mind and heart. Gemilas chasodim, kindness. And that's melech, moyach, leiv, and koved. A person should be a king over his heart. Moyach shalit al halev. The mind rules over the heart. That's why Hashem made by a human being. The mind is on top, the heart is in the middle, and the koved, the liver, and the kidneys are on the bottom. Moyach rules over the heart. Moyach comes first. That rules over the heart. An animal is not the same. An animal, the moyach, and the heart, and the kidneys, and the liver are on the same level. That's how an animal walks. Animal doesn't stand. That's the difference between a human being and an animal. So since Torah comes first, moyach means moyach shalit. When a person is occupied in learning Torah, and he says that the entire world is created only if Jews would not accept the Torah, God wouldn't create the world. And if Jews wouldn't accept karbonis, which is avodah, God wouldn't create. There wouldn't be a world. And also gemilas chasodim, olam chesed yiboneh. The world is built on gemilas chesed, on kindness. And if not that, the world wouldn't be able to. Then he mentions over here that Shimon says who haya oimer. Rabbi Mindel mentions. What do you mean who haya oimer? Who oimer? What does it mean? He was saying. That means that Shimon HaTzadik, he was from the last Anshe Knesset Agdela. He embodied the lesson that he taught. It means whatever he taught, here we can learn out. that whenever a person teaches, he has to be a dugma chaya. He has to live this thing. Also, ala Torah, avodah, that's the first thing. Bishvil ha-Torah, that's called Reshis first, and Yisrael, that's called Reshis. And avodah means that, and through first Torah and avodah, you get to the Gemilas Chasodim, as the Rambam, he brings down. What is the Gemilas Chasodim? Ve'elohim, like he says every morning. Kibud over aim, Gemilas Chasodim, Ashkamas Beis HaMidrash, Shachris and Arvis, and Achnos and Sorchim, all these things. And that comes down after, when you are learning Torah, and you do Avodah, then you come to the Gemilas Chasodim. And one more last thing, he mentions over here, Gemilas Chasodim is higher than Tzedakah. Why? When somebody's hungry and you give him you give him fish, and he's not hungry anymore, so that's tzedakah. But what if you teach him how to fish? Then you put him on his feet. That's called Gemilas Chasodim. So Gemilas Chasodim, he says, is even higher than tzedakah. Then one more thing he mentions here, and he remains by a question. He says Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Avraham is a Gemilas Chesed, we all know. Yitzchak is L'suach Basode. Yitzchak is the Inyan for the Karbonis. That's Avodah. And Yaakov is Torah. Yaakov, Yeshiv Aholim. So we say Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. According to this, it should have been, yes, over here. It should have been first Yaakov, first comes Torah, then comes Avodah, Yitzchak, then comes Avraham Avinu. So he remains here by a question, I don't know the answer. So this is one of the things that I wanted to mention to you. I mean, we can learn this a whole year and spend time on every little thing that the Rebbe put in. That this is the from day to day, and this is sold now in the stores. You can buy it. And in Mitzvah Hashem, next week we'll continue our weekly program. Thank you.